Hello YouTube and welcome back. It's me, Fruit Guru. I hope you're all taking care of yourselves and I hope as always you're enjoying the grind. I did make a video earlier about the current state of the game and some of the issues that I was finding with it, or that the community as a whole we're having right now. But I kind of wanted to come back and do something just a little bit more helpful in general. I do try to kind of be a tips/guide channel, and I didn't want to kind of end the day on a negative note, I guess. So one of the things that a few people have asked me for now is a Zeny farming guide. And to be honest with you, as few resources as there are out there, this is actually one of the things that there are quite a few guides for. So I hope mine's not just going to be repeating the same old, although it probably will be. But if you haven't seen them, why not look at mine, I guess. So here we go. So I guess to start with, there's kind of a few things you want to factor in when you're farming Zeny. Obviously there's like one really good way to do it, but this is for the most part, well, an idle game, despite the fact that I babysit it nearly 24/7 at this point. But you want to be doing a few things at once. So if we have a look at kind of the setup, I guess, we have our raw farming currency, which we'll talk about first. Then we've got the pouring coins that we're going to be gaining as we do this, and then our AFK dispatch missions. We're going to look at these three elements and kind of what we gain from them and what we want to be doing with each one. So to start with, I guess, which zone do you start with? And I'm going to show you two good choices here. Don't think that these are the only places you have to farm, but these are generally the most popular. So choice A is the Peko Pekos in Desert 4. And this is a really good place to grind, because not only is the raw currency that you get in terms of Zeny quite generous, but you also get the rotten bandages. And if you didn't know, the rotten bandages are one of the best, if not the best thing that you can feed your dark tree. So if you haven't been doing this, if you go into your tree here, let me just hide this for a second, and we go into the Tree of Darkness, you can see that you can basically get these star crystals here by feeding it a material that you don't want. And I mean, rotten bandages are so easy to get. This is the second time I've recorded this video, because I buggered up the first one, and I've already got 354 bandages just from doing that, which was only for like about 10-15 minutes or so. So that's pretty nice. Maybe it was a little bit longer actually, I don't want to oversell it. But yeah, you can get your star crystals while you're grinding, so that's another pro for this place. The second place I'll talk about is Pyramid 6. And this is the mummies, and here your item drop is the dried leaves, and this is going to funnel into the int boxes I'm going to talk about in a bit. It's another great thing to get, although to be honest with you, with dispatch you're going to get more kind of dried leaves than this, so it's more so for the Zeny. But basically the bottom line here is that you ideally want to be one-shotting these mobs consistently, or at the very least two-shotting them. This is basically what everybody who is less smooth-brained than me has told me, and yeah, I mean, it seems to make sense, right? Because there's no point in farming something that you can't kill quickly. So yeah, basically if you can two-shot Pekos reliably, go for it by all means. If you struggle a little bit, try mummies. They're a little less tanky. I know I struggled for quite a while doing Pekos on my build, so mummies it was for quite a while, and I've only just kind of started Pekos recently. But there's no shame in either. I mean, they're both great choices. The actual Zeny difference you get from them isn't huge. It's not game breaking, so don't feel like you're losing out if you can't kill the Pekos. The bandages are a really nice bonus. You'll get there eventually anyway. So yeah, I mean, that's basically what your zone of choice is ideally going to be. So let's have a look at gear. And I'm going to bring this up here, and you're going to see some old familiars. I'm sure by now pretty much all of you have found a Zeny knife. This is a very common drop. It's going to be a massive source of Zeny increase. So you can see here mine's only +1, and already it's +10.32. This obviously scales with the level. It's really nice, but it does have one caveat in that your damage is extremely nerfed. So for me, I'm a clown player. I rely on procs for my auto attack, and right now the procs aren't consistent enough for me to really farm quickly, so I need to personally actually go off and crunch some numbers and see if it's worth me using this thing. I think if I like leveled it up to a point where the Zeny drop rate was really significant, it would actually be worth it, but I don't want to say anything without actually testing it first. But if you're an assassin class, if you're any kind of like physical damage dealer class, go nuts with this thing. This thing was made for you. If there was a Zeny wand, oh, I'd be very happy, but there isn't, so I've got to live with that. So this is like the easiest thing to get pretty much. you're going to go for it. Just go ham and watch the rewards come in. The next thing I'll talk about is the Golden Horn headband. So again, incredibly easy to get. You actually get this as a free item. You're going to get this from your jewel missions eventually. Don't throw this away. You only get one as far as I know. You can't actually trade it, so you can't get it back if you lose it. If you did get rid of it, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to show you another option in the next segment, so don't panic too much. But it's just really nice because not only do you get the Zeny drop rate, but you also get a movement speed boost. And basically, farming Zeny comes down to two things. It's going to be the increased Zeny and how fast you can actually go around killing things. I'm going to presume that you can one or two shot them, but how do you get from each mob to mob quickly without losing time? And that's what we're going to talk about in a second. Then there's a couple of cards that you can get as well. So there's the Cramp card, which is 2-star, incredibly easy to get. I've got a particularly nice one here. If you saw my video kind of talking about cards, you'll know that the overall quality actually doesn't mean diddly squat half the time. And we're specifically looking for a high bar in the Zeny drop rate if we're really caring about min-maxing. So here's my little flex here. I've got a nice one. My other ones are crap though, so you know, that's that. Oh, didn't mean to move that around. But yeah, and then we have the 4-star Pirate Skeleton card. This gives another nice chunk of Zeny drop rate. It goes into the necklace. So that's your head and necklaces. You just want to ×4 both of these cards. They're pretty much your best cards for getting bonuses. Then, if you want to upgrade your job class to Wallet Warrior, I can recommend the Kafra membership here. Now, this is only a monthly thing. It's €5.99 for me, so it'll be probably priced differently depending on where you're based. But it does give an extra +10 Zeny drop rate, and this is quite nice when kind of concatenated with everything else. You get some job EXP and base EXP bonus. I don't think this is incredibly impactful, but you also get a share reward increased. But again, that's not really going to affect me since I rarely share. I always have the thing farming myself. But it's kind of nice all around, I guess. But specifically, I got this for the Zeny drop rate, and it's a nice little bonus. So that's basically the kind of gear and card setup you're looking at. And it's nice. I mean, maybe the Pirate Skeleton card might be a bit slow to get 4 of them since they're 4-star. Kafra membership obviously is a spender item, but the other 3 here you're going to get pretty quickly, and you're going to be able to kind of get enough Cramp cards that you're going to be able to pick your best one eventually. So yeah, that's a pretty nice starting point. Then I think we're going to talk about the next part, which is your movement speed. And this is really important. And just to note, actually, my Zeny farming gear is pretty much non-existent. It's trash right now. So what you're seeing on the screen is not me really kind of farming with the Zeny set, which is why it's really slow. But in a perfect world, if I was there, this is what you'd be kind of looking at here. So you'll notice these pieces of gear all have movement speed on them, and this stacks quite nicely. And it's also worth noting that a guild can also spec up the movement speed passive, so you can actually get more movement speed from being in a guild that has it. And yeah, I mean, if you have a look at this sprint mail, this is a 4-star drop that you can get out of the int boxes, which we're going to be dispatching for as we are farming. The airship cloak you can easily get out of airship boxes. It's not very rare. I mean, if you have my luck, it is, but I've seen people get quite a few of these along the way. And if you were really dying to get this, I mean, you can always craft it up. I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend hanging on to your pieces, but you know, the option's there if you're super stuck. Then we have the sprint ring, which again, nice chunk of movement speed. This does drop from the int boxes as well, so you're going to be looking out to keep this one. And then moving on to the cards, you have the Galapagos card here, which does have a movement speed buff on it. And then the Infinite Eclipse card, which you're going to be able to try and get. I've had so much bad luck with this. I come second against Infinite Eclipse all the time. I just cannot quite get there yet, but I will, and that's something that I'm going to be able to add to my farming set when I get this. And then finally, you have another option here as a headpiece. I did mention the golden horns, but this one seems to have quite a lot of movement speed on it. And maybe, depending on your setup, this actually might be better to use. It's up to yourself, but again, it's a 4-star, so you can get it from the int box. It's something you're going to be able to kind of work towards over time. So there's nothing incredibly super rare here. I mean, a Galapagos card might take you a while to get 4 of them, and the Infinite Eclipse card could be a little bit of a pain. I do not recommend buying these off the marketplace. I just think you've got to be patient. Unless you're a whale or a heavy spender, by all means then do what you want. But for the row point cost of this, I don't really advise it anyway. And I think, yeah, if you get these, you get these. But if not, it's not going to break the game. You've got other options here which are going to give you some nice starting movement speed anyway. So that's basically the gear, the cards, what you want to be working towards, and you can kind of see now that they all add up pretty nicely, and that's how you basically get your farming set. The next thing I'm going to talk about is, while you've been like AFK farming, you'll be building up these pouring coins, and at the time of recording this video we do have the monopoly. So you're going to want to get that 10 spaces done every day, which is going to kind of put this a little bit slower. However, I do believe it's worth it just for the pouring doll stuff. But normally you're going to be able to basically just send these coins on the wheel. Now you don't have to spin the wheel anymore. I've got 384 at the moment. But when I get 500, I'm going to be able to craft this wheel box here. And it's only going to cost me 5k Zeny to craft. And I find I generally get like a nice chunk of Zeny out of this. But not only do I get the Zeny, I also get row points, which we all are probably gagging for right now. I get the Nyan, which, you know, if you're free to play, you know, this is like drip fed to you. it's hard. So anything you get out of this is basically nice. And you'll get a few other goodies here too as well. And then finally, my dispatch has just come up. So while I'm AFK farming, I've just farmed leaves. So if you're seeing Geffen here, I'm getting 220 of these an hour from there. Then I have my B team, they're getting 70 leaves here, so that's nice. Then I have my Culvert single guy here. He only gets 10 leaves at a time, but it all adds up, right? So I sent him there. And what I do with these then are, I actually had the first time I recorded this, I had 16 of these boxes saved up, and I pulled them all on the recording, and I did not get a single 4-star item out of 16 boxes, which is absolutely disgusting. It's normally a lot better than that. But what can we do here? We can make one box, so I have one box example for you. And maybe we'll get lucky. But what we're looking for ideally here is either something like a Kronos, which we're going to be able to sell really quickly for 2 million Zeny, or like, for me, a frozen bow would be really, really nice. I wouldn't say no to that, because that's going to cost me 500-600 Zeny anyway, and I need it to make my weapon. So let's pull on this and hope for better luck this time. Boom. We get a really terrible spear. So 2 stars. Not luck with us. But over time, this is going to average out. You're going to get quite a few nice bits and bobs. I actually got my sprint mail out of this, which I cannot find now. I'm really hoping I didn't trash it. It looks like oh no, I did. Thank God. There we go. So that's how I got my sprint mail, and you know, hopefully I'll get the sprint ring soon, and I'll be able to actually work towards putting this together. And I guess the last thing I guess I'll cover really quickly is, you do of course have consumables. There is a Zeny drop consumable, which I don't have any of, but you can trade certain stuff in the market for it. And then of course you have your white potions, which are going to increase your movement speed again, times 30, so that's quite substantial. And it's worth just using these for farming, but make sure you keep them as well for your dungeon runs, your EXP dungeon and your Zeny dungeon, because they make quite a difference there. Although I suppose if you have all the gear set up, then you can use that anyway, and you're good to go regardless. So I hope that's kind of cleared a few things up. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, if you've missed anything at all, do let me know in the comments. If you like the content, please think about giving me a subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And yeah, thanks again for watching. Take care. Fruit Guru out. May your pulls be lucky. Bye.